Welcome to The Explainer. So I've got a question for you, and it sounds kind of like a riddle.
Believe it or not, the answer connects all the hidden layers of our global economic machine. Today, we're going to peel back those layers, from the huge ideas that drive the whole system, right down to the mindset you need to actually win inside of it.
So let's start at the very beginning, right? With the machine's core design principle. And this is a really powerful, kind of counterintuitive idea that goes all the way back to 1817.
I mean, on the surface, this seems like a no-brainer, right? If your country is better at making something, you should just make it. But what if I told you that simple assumption is completely wrong, and understanding why it's wrong is the key to unlocking the entire global economy?
Okay, so the answer lies in this concept called comparative advantage. The key words to remember here are relative opportunity cost. Let me give you an analogy. Imagine a world-class surgeon who also happens to be amazing at mowing the lawn. Should she mow her own lawn? Probably not, because every hour she spends mowing is an hour she's not spending doing surgery and saving lives. The opportunity cost of mowing the lawn is just way too high. It makes way more sense for her to hire a gardener and focus on what she does best. Well, guess what? Nations operate on the exact same principle.
Let's make this real with the classic example from economist David Ricardo. So you look at this table, and at first glance it's totally clear. Portugal is better at making both cloth and wine. It takes them fewer hours to make each one. This is what we call an absolute advantage. So common sense would tell you, well, Portugal should just make everything itself. But that's not the whole story, not even close.
You see, the real magic here is in the trade-offs. To make 1 unit of cloth, England has to give up making, a little less than 1 unit of wine. But for Portugal to make that same unit of cloth, they have to give up making more than a full unit of wine. So even though Portugal is better at both, England is relatively more efficient at making cloth. It costs them less in terms of lost wine production. So if they specialize, England makes the cloth, Portugal makes the wine, and then they trade, boom, they both end up with more of everything than they could have made on their own. This right here is the engine of global trade. It's all about focusing on your relative strengths.
Okay, so this idea is brilliant, for sure. But how do you actually get hundreds of different countries to play ball on a global scale? You need an operating system. You need a rule book that everyone agrees to follow.
And for the most part, that operating system is run by the World Trade Organization, the WTO. Think of them as the global referee. Their whole job is to make it easier for countries to do that whole specialization thing we just talked about. They work to lower trade barriers, settle arguments, and basically make sure the gears of this massive global machine keep turning for all 166 of its member nations.
But, high-level rules are just one piece of the puzzle. What happens on the ground when a real container of, say, sneakers is moving from a factory in Vietnam to a warehouse in Ohio? Man, things get complicated, and they get complicated fast. Who's paying for the shipping? If the ship hits a storm, who's on the hook for the damaged goods? Who deals with all the customs paperwork?
Well, to solve all that chaos, the business world came up with something called Incoterms. You can think of them as the official logistical playbook for global trade. It's a set of 11 universal terms that spells out in black and white who pays for what, and crucially, the exact moment that responsibility for the goods passes from the seller to the buyer.
And this playbook has a whole range of options. But let's just look at the two extremes to get the idea. On one end, you've got EXW, which stands for Xworks. The easiest way to think about this is like buying a couch on Facebook Marketplace. You go to their house, you pay for it, and it's 100% your problem to get it home. The seller's job is done the second you hand over the cash. Then on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, you have DDP, Delivered, Duty, Paid. This is the Amazon Prime experience. The seller handles literally everything, the shipping, the insurance, the customs, all of it, and delivers it right to your doorstep.
Okay, so we've got the design principle, comparative advantage. We've got the rule book, the WTO and Incoterms. But what actually fuels this entire machine? Money. And that money is managed by the operators, the actual players making the split-second decisions inside this huge, complex financial system. And really, you can break them down into two main groups. First, you have the big guns, the institutional traders. These are the pros managing billions of dollars for giant banks and hedge funds. Their trades are so massive they can actually move the market. Then you've got the retail traders. That's probably you, it's me, everyday people trading with our own money. Our trades are, well, a drop in the ocean, and we have pretty much zero impact on the overall market.
But here's the thing. Both of these groups, from the biggest hedge fund on Wall Street to a student trading from their dorm room, are now relying on the same powerful tool, a technology that has, without a doubt, become the backbone of modern finance.
And that technology is algorithmic trading, or algo trading for short. What is it? Well, at its core, it's just using computer programs to automatically execute trades based on a set of rules you give it. The huge advantage is that it takes human emotion, all that fear and greed that messes us up, right out of the equation. Plus, it lets traders execute strategies that are just way too fast and complicated for any human to do by hand.
So picture this. Instead of a person staring at a screen, biting their nails, and then clicking buy, you have an algorithm doing all of that work in the blink of an eye. Literally. It's constantly scanning the market, it spots an opportunity based on its programming, it executes the order at the perfect price, and it manages the risk, all without a single ounce of fear or hesitation.
Okay, so we've got this amazing tech, right? We have global rules, we have lightning-fast algorithms, but here's the twist. The final frontier for success, it isn't in the machine itself, it's in the human mind that's operating it. And this is absolutely critical to understand. You can have two people using the exact same trading algorithm, the same strategy, the same tools. One will make money and the other will lose it all. Why? It comes down to one thing: psychology. The amateur takes a loss, gets angry or scared, and immediately jumps into a revenge trade to try and win it back. The professional? They see a loss as just a cost of doing business. It's an expected expense. They stick to the plan and move on to the next trade. No emotion involved. There's this saying in the Navy SEALs that just captures this perfectly. It goes, under pressure, you don't rise to the occasion, you sink to the level of your training. When the market goes crazy, you don't suddenly become a genius trader. No. You fall back on your habits, your training, your system. Pros know this. They don't hope for the best. They drill their process over and over and over. So when the heat is on, they can execute without even thinking.
And this really gets to the core of it. This one shift in focus changes everything. Amateurs are totally focused on the reward. They're daydreaming about the huge profits they're going to make. Professionals, they are obsessed with risk. Their very first question is never, how much can I make on this trade? It's, what's the absolute most I can lose, and am I okay with that? That focus on playing defense, on survival, is what separates the people who stick around from the ones who blow up their account.
So you see, the pro's edge isn't some secret indicator or a magic formula they bought online. It's just a boring, unwavering commitment to their discipline and their process. They accept that any single trade can lose. That's just part of the game. They're not trying to predict the future. They're focused on executing their plan flawlessly, time and time again, because that's where the real advantage is found.
And so there you have it. We've come full circle. We started with this huge 200-year-old idea about why nations trade. We moved through the global rulebooks that make it all happen, and we ended up right inside the mind of a single trader, looking at the micro-discipline it takes to operate inside this machine.
So here's the final, kind of crazy thought. In a world that's getting faster, more automated, more driven by algorithms, what's the final advantage? Is it human? The final most important variable isn't the code or the computer chip. It's the messy, emotional, but hopefully disciplined human who's at the controls. See, understanding the machine is one thing, but mastering yourself, that's what really matters.